Alrighty, what's up? What's up? Welcome back to Boston Collectors. I'm Jonathan, and today, I'm excited to open Ray and Dio. Now, before we get into this box, I want to thank you all so much for the support on the channel. We just hit 100 subscribers, and we're super happy. Thank you for the support. I'm trying to figure out ideas for how to not necessarily be a typical unboxing and review channel. So if you have any ideas, feel free to share them down below. It will be greatly appreciated because we're also trying to come up with our own ideas. Now, second, you all love the Anakin Skywalker video so much, and I asked a question about my collection. Now, I'll definitely do a video on my collection after after I finish the lighting and the dust proofing in those detofs. So stay tuned for that. For now, let's go ahead and get into this box. So this came in today. Everything's looking right. Earlier, as you can see here, we have a slight discoloration. It was rather wet, but the cat seemed to enjoy it. She licked on this part of the box quite a bit. I don't know what that is, but yeah, she seemed to have liked it. But outside of that wet spot, which I'm hoping didn't permeate through the box into the art box, but usually that's encapsulated by plastic. Hopefully it is. Everything else looks totally fine though. You've got all the tape. No addresses on it because I peeled it off. Let's go ahead and get into it. There we go. All right. So the box is looking good so far. It did not, whatever that was, did not permeate through. There we go. Oh man. That over there. Oh, look at that. Wow. That band looks great too. It almost looked like actually, here, check this out. So let me walk you through this story right quick. So you have, this whole blue side, which is usually, like the Jedi way, the light side, if you will. And then you sort of have that band where it almost looked like X-Wings, I want to say. Yeah, those almost look like X-Wings, or it could be, no, those look like Star Destroyers over there. And then it goes from blue to sort of like a dark color to red, which is where she was when she found the Wayfinder there. If you can see that. So you've got the Palpatine area where she found his throne. You have the Star Destroyers there. Then you have that portrait. I don't know. That's kind of interesting. Maybe Skywalker to Palpatine. I don't know. Let me know what you think. So the band obviously looks really good. We have the portrait there. We have it here. We have her MMS number there, which is 559. The first thing that sort of like jumps out at you is the way that the hand is there. It's just kind of awkward. I feel like they definitely could have went with a different pose though. Usually you don't want to photograph hands that are just straight on like that. It should be, if you're going to do it, it should be at a slant, but I feel like another pose would have been a bit more appropriate for this box. As you can see here, it's at the side, even though it still looks a little long. I guess we'll see if they're that crazy in the box, but for now you have a long ass hand there. You've got another long ass hand there. We've got Anakin's lightsaber there, shining bright. We've got the typical Star Wars logo that we're all familiar with at this point. And then we have this super dope picture on the back. So we had this with Kylo as well. I'm guessing they do this with just the sequel trilogies. I don't know. I only have Kylo and now Rey. I don't own any other figures. Michael. So outside of that, I mean, the figure looks incredible just right here alone. I would love more of the photos right here on the back, but awesome. See that they hid the hand too. I wonder if that was a long one. So let's go ahead and crack this bad boy open and let's see what we got. All right. Wow, that looks cool. See, I'm a big fan of the whole gradient. You can tell it's sort of like it draws your attention as it should, right? Photos like this, you're not supposed to see all of that. So when you make that gradient and it's sort of darker there, that vignetting, if you will, is supposed to draw your attention here. So I'm a big fan of, you know, the gradients and the effects and all of that cool stuff. It's very vibrant too. Phenomenal picture. Very nice. And let's go ahead and get the figure out of the box and let's get into the review. Alrighty, so before I took the clamshell and everything off of the figure, I wanted to sort of undo the layers here so that you all could see the accessories. There we go. So we have the first layer of accessories here being the saber hilt. We have the satchel. We also have sort of the wrap there for the sabers. We have an extra tip there for the saber hilt. Both saber effects, one being the swooshing effect and the activated effect there as well. And now let's go ahead and take this off. All right, so let's just jump straight into Rey right away. Right away. We're not pulling any punches today. Wow. She feels very, very fragile. Not like IG-11 fragile, but very thin, very tiny. Let's check out that face sculpt. They like double bagged it. They have this on top, and then they also have, if you can see, there's a plastic layer. Oh, they did it for the hair tips. All right, so be very careful when taking that out. As you can see there, if you can see there, they have these little slits on the side, so be very careful when taking that part out. Now, Rey, look at that. Oh, man. That is looking phenomenal. It still, to me, doesn't look like her, but like it's by far one of the best head sculpts that they have of Daisy, but it does look very, very nice in person, I must admit. Ooh, I can't wait to get into that part of the video. So let's go ahead and get the accessories and everything out. That way we can discuss everything that we've got here, and I'll catch you all in a minute. All right, so let's go ahead and start with the fists first. Really nice, detailed. We also have the saber wielding hands here. Let's go ahead and swap those around, right? Yeah, there you go. And then last but not least, we also have the pistol blaster hand, if you will. Her hands are so tiny, it's kind of hard to get the camera to focus. And next up, we have both of Anakin's hilts here. I'm from the school of thought of calling them Anakins. Now, one, which is this one, you can have her wield, if you will. And then this one is meant to clip on her belt, and you can tell the difference because of the clip. But they're both pretty much the exact same thing. Just one comes with a clip. Next up, we have, look at this. Look at this magnificent thing here. Whew. Beautiful, beautiful piece. We've got Leia's hilt. It also comes with a small little dangly bit there. If you want to clip that to the side of Rey's belt, you can definitely do that. And you can also have it ignited. Very, very nice detailing. And here we are with Rey's hilt. Look at that. I love her hilt so much. Such a beautiful piece. If we can get that to focus, that would be amazing. So nice. So, so nice. Now, there's a piece here, which I'm holding over in this hand. This is the part that you can place on this so that it can hold the ignited effect. So what you want to do, let's pull that off. As you can see, we're going to place that over to the side. Make sure you align the pieces up properly. There we go. It's going to take a bit of force to put it on, which I kind of don't want to put it on because I don't want to fight it off. But there you go. Once it's in there, you can put the ignited portion in there and Bob's your uncle. Now we can't talk about the sabers without the saber effects. So we have the blue swooshing effect. We also have the gold swooshing effect as well. And then last but not least, which these are the ones that I use for the most part, I use the more ignited, like the stable look. I don't really use the swooshing. So you have the blue version and you also have the gold version. Next up, we also have Rey's blaster, which was given to her by Han Solo. Pretty basic stuff here. There's not a lot of wear and tear in it, but we also have her training droid. There you go. There's another part here. I might as well show it to you, right? So there's a clear stick that can go inside of there, and that clear stick goes inside of a stand. But look at that. Absolutely phenomenal. We also have Rey's band there for her arm. Really nice. Alrighty, so next up we have a couple more pieces here. Let's go right into the satchel. Pretty basic stuff here. You've got the portion here that can go over her arm where she can hold it. The bag can also open up. You want to lift it out of the spring. There you go. And then that can then open up for the different compartments there. And we also have the cloth that she used when she buried Luke in Leia's saber as well. We have a couple other things here. We have the instructions. I wasn't really sure how to get the saber part out, and I didn't want to try to pull out the wrong side. So that's what I use this for. Good to have. Alrighty, and continuing on with the boring stuff. As you can see, we still have the antennas, and we have a couple pegs as well. Now the antennas, these are going to be used for Dio. So that's what these are for. Guess we're going to have to see just how difficult these are to put in, huh? Alrighty, and then we also have her training helmet, which this is a really cool piece too. If you're curious about how that maneuvers, it's on a joint there on the sides. Can go up and down. And then you can also pull that part off as well. So you can see you've got the cushion on the side so that the paint isn't scratching off on the helmet, or the paint isn't being scarred on the face sculpt. So now what you want to do in order to close it back, line up the joints. There you go. Clip it in and you're good to go. And we have, which is probably like one of my favorite, definitely top 3 droids. Top 5. I'll say top 5. I've been watching Rebels. We've also got this cute little guy here. Looking really nice, right? I love the fact that the head can swivel 360. You've got the wheel there, which can also span. Really nice little thing here. I like it. We also have the base, which I'm definitely more of a fan of this one versus the Mandalorian line. You're not forced to place the character in any of these like raised footprints that they give. Definitely much better. I wish that this actually said Rey Palpatine, but considering Star Wars is going with the line of Rey Skywalker, I guess the Skywalkers aren't dead, although they're technically dead. But for the sake of this video, she's Rey Palpatine. We also have this hip grabber. Look at that. Really nice, right? She's a slender figure, so I think this is much better than the crotch cradler, just because of how slim the figure is. And not to mention the white tips look great against her cloth as well. And last, but certainly not least, look at this amazing staff. I love that that golden like, I think it's orange, the connectors there. This thing is so cool. I don't own a Ray figure, so this is the first time I've seen her staff, you know, from Hot Toys perspective. So, and that is essentially her hilt, which is another cool feature that she just sort of broke it down and went back to her Jakku roots, right? Broke something down that she used, that she fought with, and created her hilt from it. So I love this staff. Absolutely phenomenal. Alrighty, now look at this amazing head sculpt. I know it might not be 100% to a lot of people, but gotta admit, it looks a lot better than what they previously gave us. There's another Ray version that I do like, which I'll go ahead and show you here on the screen. I definitely like that one too. The others are just not it, but that one and this one look fantastic. Now, her ears are somewhat, I would say one ear specifically over there is a little bit more elven than the other. As you can see, just facing on, you have more of a rounded ear versus a sharper ear. I don't stare at Daisy Riddling enough to say that that's not right, but who knows? You know, humans are imperfect. Could be a thing. I'll go back and check later. Overall, though, I think this is a fantastic head sculpt. Honestly, for the money that I paid, beautiful. I love the just the expression. I always like that sort of that anger right there in the middle of the eyebrows there, the wrinkles. Go ahead and turn that on for you all. The one thing which it's typical to for this particular character, the one thing that I really don't like is the hair sort of hanging off of the side there, but it's Ray, right? We have to deal with it. Outside of that, I think the head sculpt, the face, everything looks phenomenal. I think the hair looks great in terms of the hair sculpt here on the back. I mean, that's Ray. You cannot deny that that's Ray as well. Now, there isn't really too much to go on. Outside of that, I love the way that the hair is painted and wisped there on the forehead. The eyes, beautiful. They have this glossy-like look to them. I love the hairline there on the back as well. Again, I'm more of a fan of sculpted hair versus the synthetic hair that they usually use. I love the wisps there on the side from the edges. This head sculpt is brilliant in my opinion. I also love the light choice of lipstick there as well. This is just, I don't really have much to say about it because it's not like she's got any scars or anything like that. Very stern yet soft look to Ray Palpatine. Phenomenal job. Alrighty, and here we have the figure itself, which honestly I think I want to say, yeah, this is probably the first female character in my collection, which is kind of surprising because I never actually thought about my collection as having, you know, all females or all males or anything like that. It's just I heard Palpatine and I had to have her. I've also got Rescue coming because I like her character as well, but this is probably the tiniest figure that I have in my collection outside of IG-11. So it was a bit interesting to try to get some of the pieces on. For example, like the belt there and popping off the hand to put another piece in and just trying not to tear any of these pieces up. And again, like the band sort of fell off there. So it was very, very strange for me to have to deal with. Now, one thing that I do want to note, first off, I love the boots. I think the boots look great. I love the tread. The only issue is that we don't have a joint at the bottom for like really cool, sick dynamic poses. That's really my only gripe with this figure. But the rest of it, it took a bit of getting used to because, again, I'm not used to having to deal with such a dainty figure, if you will. It's very difficult to know when I'm bending the arms for it to sort of go into place. I'm not feeling much in terms of ratcheting. So like to me, this arm here looks a little weird. It's just going to take a bit of getting used to. However, the rest of it is phenomenal. Now, in terms of just the overall figure itself, I do have a light over there, a hair light, which you see here. I have a main light here, and I also have a fill light up top, just so that you all have an idea of, you know, the lighting. And I know a lot of people feel sort of blindsided at products and how they're lit, just for transparency purposes. But other than that, I think the figure is phenomenal. It just takes a bit of getting used to. I'll definitely show you all a few poses that I went with at the end of the video. And, you know, I'd like to hear your thoughts, and maybe even tag me on Instagram with some of your poses. Maybe that'll give me some ideas. I greatly appreciate it. At Boston Collectors, feel free to tag me in anything Ray. That way I can also see what you all are doing. And, again, give me some inspiration. So let's go ahead and wrap up the figure review section and jump right into the next one. Alrighty, and here we are with Ray. This figure it's beautiful. I'm really glad that I went ahead and picked this up, honestly. It's a phenomenal looking figure. Dio is a very interesting figure to get those antennas in, to say the least. I do feel like since we have Dio, maybe we should have something to cover up that hole in the back for the waist grabber, just because it's a bit of an eyesore. Outside of that, though, I think Dio is great and the base looks great. Finally, it's not like the Mandalorian base. Again, I pointed out previously that I do wish the joints and the ankles were able to pivot a bit, but I understand, you know, sometimes you can't get everything, especially with the nature of the design, and you don't know exactly what Disney allowed to be cleared. Now, second, this little tassel there on the belt, I realized later on that it was unwound upon unboxing it. So I kind of had to shove that little strand up inside of the belt, and hopefully it stay that way. Outside of that, I think the belt looks great. I love the gun holster as well. I think the fabrics look good too. I just wish that there was a bit more weathering in some parts. Like here, it's a bit too white, but then like you go up there and you have a bit more weathering. But other than that, I think the clothing looks great. There is one thing that I'll point out, and maybe you can see it here. Let's see if I turn the figure around a bit. just a bit. Yeah, there it is. So you can sort of see it there on the wrist here. Now, I have a slight issue. Yeah, there you go. In terms of trying to pull this this little piece of garb up, it's weird because it's not meant to go all the way up, right? It's engineered in a way where it's supposed to go up to a certain height, especially since it's wider up here and thinner down there. So that's a bit of a pain. That joint on the inside of the wrist there as well, there's a metal portion inside of it where if you try to pull out that hand, that there is a joint first off. However, inside, in order to connect the joint, that part is metal, and I feel like I'm going to break the actual ball joint itself trying to put it back in there. So I will suggest being careful with that. Outside of that, the arms, we just sort of turn the figure back around here. And there we go. The arms have this very gelatin-like texture to it. So if you're like me and you use latex gloves, you're fine. However, if you're the type of collector who use cloth-like gloves or something like that, you're going to rub off a lot of that here on the arm. It's nothing that some water and a napkin can't clean up, but that's a bit annoying as well. Apart from that, the unboxing and sort of taking all of the plastic off, the hardest part will have to be whatever is like down there in her chest region. I'm not sure how the heck I was supposed to pull all of that out, but I wasn't about to undress her entirely just to pull that off. So there is actually plastic still left in there, and I just sort of had to push it down. The hood, I think that could have been a bit better just because it's kind of I don't think her hood's big enough. When I tried to put it on her, I don't know, it didn't seem like it works. Don't get me wrong, it just doesn't look good. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure there are some people that love it, but me personally, I think the hood could have been just a bit bigger, just a bit. I'm not asking for like an oversized hoodie, and understand proportions and everything's off, but if they gave us that box with that long ass hand on it twice in the front, they could have gave us a bigger hoodie. I think the cool takeaways, because I don't want it to seem like I'm beating the figure down, because I actually love the figure. I really 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 love the lightsaber hilt. It's such a phenomenal hilt. You cannot deny that hilt by any means. I also love the additional accessories that she come with. Luke and Leia's hilt and her staff, I think, are going to look phenomenal. And I think the Luke and Leia sabers, they look great. I chose not to use them for my particular figure, but they do look great together. This is probably going to be the safest pose to go with, though, as a Rey figure owner, just because of the fact that I don't want the insides to crease and eventually crack, and I'm not really sure I want to do anything outside of this. So I feel like, if anything, this is probably going to be what the majority of collectors go with. But again, if not, please feel free to tag us at Boston Collectors in your posing and everything that you all are doing. We might go ahead and show some extra poses on Instagram as well, but chances are this is going to be the pose that I go with, just because she looks battle ready. You've got the fist. Like, this is probably the perfect shelf stance, minus Dio in her base, which I really do wish that said Rey Palpatine. But outside of that, the pose here is it's good. This right here is good. I want to ruffle her hood up a little bit more so that it looks realistic rather than just that perfect circle. So apart from that, I'm going to definitely make that look good. So with that being said, I do think if you're a fan of the sequel trilogies, I don't think that you should pass up on this figure. It is a phenomenal piece. It's a little difficult to get used to, again, because she's so skinny and the arms are like gelatin. It's not like Thanos. Thanos' skin feels a bit smoother, and it feels a little bit thinner than Rey's skin. So the texture and the feeling of that, definitely different in my opinion. Super happy that I got it. I'm so glad that I got this figure. I wasn't really sold on the final product images because, photography can be a bit tricky. So I was skeptical. However, Super glad she's in my possession, and I will not be giving her up. In fact, I want to try to get the gray version, if you will, and the longer hair, because that's a really good looking face sculpt too. So we'll see. If I can't get it at a decent price, then it's no sweat off my back. I have the Ray that I need in my collection. So, and I'm super happy about it. If you like the sequel trilogies, definitely pick this up. If you're on the fence about this figure, pick it up. She came with a lot of accessories. I think for the asking price, all I can say is I'm happy I have it. Now, for those of you who enjoy the content, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. Don't forget to subscribe. I know it sounds like, the typical thing people say, but it does help out with growth. It helps out with growing the channel and the community that we have. It means a lot to us. Thank you all so much for watching. Let me know in the comments section if you decided to pick her up, or if you just decided, not this time. I'm telling you, don't pass up on this figure. I don't think that we'll ever see Ray again, honestly. People really, really hated the sequel trilogies. You don't want to pass up on this one. Because if she come back and they do something amazing with her character and people want to know who she is, and you have this, for those of you who pick up figures and think of them as investments, this is it, man. This is the one. However, I choose to pick up my figures because I just really enjoy them and they have a spot in my collection. So thank you all so much for watching. This is Jonathan with Boston Collectors, and we'll catch you all on the flippity flop.